So our final show is the CW's Tomorrow People. Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me, the Tomorrow People.
Yeah, that's gonna mess me up.
Well, I mean, I was actually talking about this with someone yesterday because the Tomorrow People and Starcrossed are not being consistently spelled on any of the CW's things.
I know.
And I'm just like,
the show was originally just Tomorrow People,
right.
And I think
so. These Tomorrow People
doesn't matter.
Yes, we'll try to remember the Tomorrow People.
I won't.
She won't. I will do my best, internet. That was a show that I didn't see the original show.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
we're not comparing it.
I have no concept. I know it has people have very strong nostalgic feelings for that.
Of course, they always will.
I didn't know it was a thing. Bad TV reporter.
Well, it wasn't. It was a thing. It was on, but it wasn't a huge popular.
I mean, it seems to have been a thing based on the reaction I'm seeing.
And now I think because now you can go back and see anything, it finds an audience in a different way.
Yeah. So with that being said, I really had no conception of what the show would be. Aside from basically the logline, which sounded very Heroes meets Alphas meets CW.
And which to me doesn't sound like a good thing. I'll be honest. I didn't like Heroes. I didn't like Alphas. I do like the CW.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Heroes season 1, and put up with it longer than probably most of America. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by Tomorrow People in the sense that it took English. It felt like it set up a premise that I'm interested in. There are some things that in the pilot I was a little bit less thrilled by, but at the same time, I think Robbie is a great TV actor. I think that the cast is a really great cast. I love Mark Pellegrino. I think he's fantastic, and I love when he's been on, I feel like, practically all of my favorite shows at this point. So I like the idea that he could be steady in a series for a while. I mean, of course, the problem with that always poses if he is a big bad or whatever, how long you keep them around for.
I think, though, that they kind of set it enough up in the pilot where, we're learning things as Robbie's character, Steven, learns things. And so he doesn't know who to trust, and maybe he thinks someone is bad right now, but maybe he's not that bad. Right. No one thinks they're doing something wrong. They have their reasons. Yeah. So I hope he's bad because I love when he plays those characters. He's just so amazing. That's great for him as an actor. Yeah, like the fact that he can tap into these dark sides of himself. Great.
When he was so good and Lost at being the opposite of bad.
Right. Because I was so used to him being bad, I kept waiting. But anyway, I will say though, with the Tomorrow People, I love the ensemble. Like, I love everybody they cast. I don't think there's a weak person in the cast, and I'm really hoping that we'll get to explore each person individually. I mean, as we said, the pilot really is heavy on this character of Steven learning what he actually is. Yeah. He's this evolved species, version of human, and he has all these powers, and that's great. And it's great to see the struggle that he's going to have learning to control them and to accept them and to maybe keep the secret from his family, and however they want to explore that. But there are a handful of other characters we've already met that also have powers and have stakes in him and expertise in a mission or a goal for that version of the species. And I'm really curious to see, because I do think they're all such great actors. Peyton List I've loved since she was on that one episode of Cold Case. Nobody watched it. Whatever. And
that was probably the most random.
It's not random if you're in my head. I found a lot of actors on Cold Case that I would write down and be like, I want to cast you in something someday, and then I got out of production. But anyway, so from Peyton to Mark to Jeffrey Pierce, who plays his dad, who I love, and I'm like, I want to see more of you. Yeah. I just thought the ensemble was so fantastic, and I really was expecting the show, the pilot. Sorry, I was really expecting the pilot to focus more on Steven, and they didn't. They really did show you a lot of everybody else, and so I really like that. And there are little things that I want to see more of him exploring his own abilities. We kind of are told, he's kind of told what he is and what he can do before he starts to see a lot of it. Right. And I almost wish that he had started to see some of it and thought he was going crazy and then was told. Right. I think it might have had a slightly stronger impact. But it happened so fast that I think that they just needed to push the story forward and get him to a different point. So well, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential for where it can go, and you know, like you already said, the big bad, and who else is out there that knows versus knows and is hunting him, these people, or knows and maybe wants to study them, use them for their own things. There's a lot of potential, and I just really I liked it in a way that I liked it from the script. Didn't think that I would, and then the pilot that they aired, and I try not to compare it too much, but the pilot that they shot is a little bit different from the script. And when I first watched it, I was like, oh, I kind of liked what I had in my head from what I read better. And then I stopped and I thought about it, and I was like, but I think this sets up more potential for the series, so I like that they did what they did.
Yeah. I mean, and when I was watching it, I was kept thinking that this is like, it is matched up with Arrow. And I feel like it basically, yes,
but that's very inside baseball, because those fans are those fans. They'll think that's adorable, and they'll hashtag Amel Wednesday.
And it's really kind of freaky that Robbie's playing a character named Steven, because that's not going to be confusing.
I mean, they could have changed that if they wanted to. That's not that.
It's going to get so confusing. I can just guarantee people are going to mess that up. But no, it's one of those things where, I watched it, when I watched Arrow for the first time last year, I remember we talked about that in one of the shows we were excited about, and I was really surprised by how much I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Even though I was, kind of going into it not sure how I'd feel about it, and I feel like this show kind of has potential to be this year's Arrow for the CW, because like, it feels like it is, it's got pretty people, it's got Chinese superpowers, it's got an interesting kind of hook to get people interested in the show, probably more so than any other show that they are debuting next year. So
oh, for sure.
I'm really, it could be, like we've seen Stephen Amell everywhere this year. Not a bad thing. He's a great guy. I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens for Robbie in that cast.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what comes next.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
That was our pilot fall snap judgments. We purposely didn't talk about mid-season because that'll come later.
And and we'll probably have something up closer to the actual.
Oh yeah, we'll do more like actual reviews and checking in with the shows.
Yeah, because these are just the rough cuts. Some of the pilots will be massively recast, etc., etc. So we'll have to watch them all over again, and it'll be interesting to see what's still good and what isn't.
True.
Stay good, TV shows.
Well, I'm Danielle at Danielle TVD.
I'm Marisa at Marisa Rothman.
Bye.
Bye, guys.